Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie and these are some military recommendations that I think you guys should go check out. Alrighty, so this is a VEDA video every day in April, and it is a topic that is so near and dear to my heart that instead of giving you guys 5, which has been the topic or the sort of number that I had picked for recommendation videos, I'm giving you guys more than that because military romances are my jam. And if they are done beautifully and nicely and accurately, then I will rave about them. So I figure if you guys are military people and you like a military romance and you need your accuracy within that military romance with some sort of, sort of exaggeratedness to it, these are going to be some books that you guys need to check out. So let's just jump into these stories because they're amazing. They're amazing. We've been started off with Great and Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. And this story it follows a military member that gets out of the military because his father ends up calling him, but at the same time you get to see some of the things that affect a military member after they get out. You get to see how military life affects a person even after they have gotten out of the military. So I just love this story. I love Rebecca Yarros. She appears again on this list. The next I'm going to talk about is Fighting Absolution and Fighting Redemption by Kate McCarthy. Both of these books are about military members that are in the Australian military. And it's surprising that the similarities to the American military that there are to the Australian military. I had the pleasure of serving with some Australian military members while I was in the service, and they are delightful. And these books right here are just fantastic, and they give you this feel. They gave me this feel like I was in the action with these characters, and I felt all the emotions that went from it. I could understand what they were going through. They are heart-touching and roller coaster ride sort of books, so they are emotional. Just amazing. You have one where you have a soldier that comes back after their best friend has passed away due to some of the military actions in which they had to engage in. And then you have another one where you have sort of 2 military members that didn't know they knew each other during childhood, but then come to find out they actually had a connection when they were children. And once they're in, they figure out that they were connected, but at the same time, can that connection give them more? And it was just, they're so amazing books. These 2 books are just absolutely amazing. You don't have to read them together. They are both standalones, but they are connected in a way. So once you read one and then you read the other, you're like, you start putting the connections together. And there isn't an order for it because it really doesn't matter which order you read them in. They're both amazing. The next I'm going to talk about is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. Yes, Rebecca Yarros is back on this list. This book wrecked and just turned me on to Rebecca Yarros in 2019, and I loved every single heart-wrenching roller coaster moment of this book. So in this story, as the title says, it's about the last letter that a military member ends up writing, and it's about the connection and connections that you make through letters and through not necessarily knowing what's going on. One character is trying to fulfill the last promise of a service member, and the other is trying to deal with the loss of that service member. And to see the 2 characters come together, there's secrets that are had, and treading through those secrets and learning about the 2 characters is just going to just it's emotional. It's very emotional, and it's such a good story, and I just loved it oh so much. And Rebecca's accuracy to the nature of losing someone that is in the that's dealing with the military is just so heart-wrenching. And if you've ever lost anyone, like an immediate loss of someone that was in the military, you're gonna feel it throughout this story. Not saying that if you don't have a connection you're not gonna feel it, because the story is an emotional story, and Rebecca does an amazing job at emoting those emotions. But I think you feel it more if you have that personal connection and military connection to the story. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Black and White Flowers by Rachel Robinson, and this story throws the world up on its end, at the same time dealing with a military service and job that is very in the news and in present day, but then it turns the world on end. So it follows a Navy SEAL that is sort of trying to get his story out, and an author that wants to write a military story and needs to do the research. And you know, if you have any connection with the military, there are lots of things that you can't divulge and can't talk about, even if you're a spouse or a, you know, family member or anything like that. There's lots of things that can't be talked about throughout jobs and things like that. So even after you get out, or if you're in, or it just lots of things. But this story takes a play on the Navy SEALs and what they do and how they are, and then it flips it on its end, because it flips the world over and takes a very different and kind of plausible situation into this new alternative world. And I just really enjoyed it, and it turned me on to Rachel's books, and I love her books because she actually has a military connection. I have a military connection, and I love that her accuracy of giving that military representation is so accurate. Love it oh so much. The next is a series of books that that was turned on to this author, and I absolutely love this author because of how real these connections are, and that is the Salvation series by Corinne Michaels. Every single one of these books has a small smidget of realism within them that is just to no end. So I have actually been on both sides of the coin of being in the military as well as supporting a military member as a spouse, and these stories give you that look at how military members are, as well as how spouses are, and how people interact and want to become part of that community. And I just really enjoyed these books, and I loved the realism of them, and it made me feel like I felt myself shaking my head as I was reading them, like, yep, that is how some of those, you know, chasers act, and, you know, that's how military members act, and, you know, things like that. So yes, so many yeses. Go check those out. And then the final book that I'm going to talk about is Heartbreak Warfare by Heather M. Orgeron and Kate Stewart. In this story, you have a love triangle, so I will put that out there right away. A love triangle. And this one is unique in that it is about a female military member. Only one other book in this list had a female military member. All the rest of them were either spouses or family members, but this one is a military female member. And there were times in this story that I had to like step away because I felt all that was going on within this story. And I had friends that were put into these situations that end up happening in this story, and it was just amazing. Heather and Kate did their research, and I appreciate that. And I applaud them for getting it right. And just the story is just an emotional one that will take you on a journey and show you how war can really affect a female soldier, can affect the things that end up happening before and after, and really dives into finding that peace and love and all that type of stuff. So, alrighty, didn't mean to get all mushy on you there, but like I said, military stories are very, very near and dear to my heart, and if authors don't get it right, then I'm not too happy about it. But these authors and these stories got it right, and I think you guys should go take a chance on them and just see and be emotionally, you know, involved in these stories. So, alrighty, that is my list. Let me know down in the comment section if you have read any of these books, and if you have recommendations for me. I have a recommendation form down in the description box, so you can give me the name of the book, the author's name, the genre in which it falls into, and give me your name, so that if I read your book, I can shout you out. So please, yes, if you have recommendations, fill out that form for this category, and we can go from there. Oh yes, definitely. Other than that, I have a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you guys tomorrow in tomorrow's video.